Comfort feels harmless. That's why it's dangerous. It doesn't feel destructive. It doesn't feel irresponsible. It doesn't feel like collapse. It feels earned. After long days, after responsibility, after pressure, comfort feels like relief. And relief is not wrong. Rest is necessary. Recovery is wise. But there is a difference between rest and residence. Rest restores you. Residence reshapes you. And many men today are not resting. They are residing in comfort. Look closely at your life. When was the last time something genuinely pushed back against you? When was the last time you chose resistance instead of convenience? Modern life has quietly removed friction. You don't have to cook. You don't have to walk. You don't have to endure heat or cold. You don't have to confront people directly. You don't have to wait. Everything is immediate. Everything is optimized. Everything is smooth. And smooth lives create soft edges. Comfort does not destroy men loudly. It erodes them slowly. You don't wake up one morning and think, I've become weak. You simply notice something subtle. You hesitate more. You delay more. You tolerate more from yourself. Your mornings soften. Your workouts become optional. Your conversations become easier because you avoid the difficult ones. Nothing collapses, but something dulls. And dullness feels like fatigue. That's what most men misunderstand. They assume they are burned out, but often what they are experiencing is something quieter. They are unsharpened. Because sharpening requires friction. If everything in your life is designed to be easy, you are not being strengthened. You are being preserved. And preservation without purpose becomes stagnation.
Comfort rarely destroys a man suddenly. It dulls him slowly. Strength is not maintained by ease. It is maintained by resistance.
Let me make this personal. There was a season in my life when nothing appeared to be wrong. Work was steady, income was consistent, and my schedule was predictable. From the outside, everything looked fine. But internally, something was shifting. I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't exhausted. I would have told you I was doing well. What I really was comfortable. At first, that comfort felt like stability. It felt like maturity. It felt like I had reached a place where things were finally under control. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, comfort began making decisions for me. I would wake up and move a little slower than I used to. I would choose the convenient option instead of the disciplined one. I would delay the harder workout, postpone the difficult conversation, or select the easier task instead of the necessary one. None of those choices felt reckless. They felt reasonable. And that is what made them dangerous. Weakness rarely presents itself as irresponsibility. It usually disguises itself as justification. I told myself I had earned the slower morning. I convinced myself that pushing less was balance. I assured myself that I would apply more pressure tomorrow. But tomorrow quietly became a pattern, and patterns reshape men. Without noticing it, my edge dulled, my urgency softened, my tolerance for discomfort shrank. I hesitated longer before stepping into hard things and avoided tension more quickly when it appeared. Nothing dramatic happened, but something softened. The more comfort I allowed, the less resistance I experienced. And the less resistance I experienced, the less capacity I was building. Eventually, even small challenges felt heavier than they should have. Conversations drained more energy. Pressure irritated me more easily. Work that once felt manageable began to feel taxing. Not because the demands increased, because my conditioning decreased. That realization was uncomfortable. I wasn't tired from doing too much. I was tired from demanding too little of myself. Burnout comes from overload. Softness comes from underload. When you are under-challenged long enough, strength fades gradually. You don't notice until something exposes it.
Burnout comes from overload. Softness comes from underload. Men lose strength when resistance disappears.
When I began noticing this pattern in myself, I started seeing it everywhere. We are living in the most comfortable era in human history. Food is immediate. Entertainment is endless. Distraction is portable. Conflict is optional. Effort can be minimized. Historically, resistance was unavoidable. You had to endure discomfort. You had to confront tension. You had to wait. Now, friction must be chosen. Technology has removed resistance from daily living. Convenience has become the default setting. But when friction disappears externally, it must be created internally. Because friction sharpens a man. Without resistance, muscles weaken. Without challenge, focus declines. Without tension, decision-making softens. None of this feels catastrophic. It simply feels easier. But easier does not always mean better. We've confused comfort with health, convenience with wisdom, ease with maturity. Modern life offers preservation. It does not automatically produce strength. Strength must now be chosen, and resistance must now be chosen. If your environment never pushes you, and you never push yourself, you will maintain comfort, not strength.
When friction disappears from life, discipline must replace it. Strength must now be chosen.
So what do? You don't reject comfort entirely. You reintroduce resistance intentionally. Not chaos, not punishment, not extremism, controlled friction. Start with the body. Physical resistance restores clarity quickly. When you train consistently, not emotionally, not occasionally, you remind yourself that effort is normal. Push-ups, weighted movement, sprints, cold air in your lungs. Your body was designed for effort. Second, introduce environmental resistance. Cold exposure is not theatrics. It is training your nervous system to remain calm under tension. Third, reintroduce relational resistance. Have the conversation you've been delaying. Clarify instead of avoiding. Every time you avoid tension, your threshold lowers. Every time you face tension, your threshold rises. Fourth, practice delayed gratification. Put the phone face down. Finish the task before distraction. Choose what is necessary over what is easy. Scripture says, I discipline my body and keep it under control. 1 Corinthians 9:27. That is not self-punishment. It is self-governance. If nothing in your day pushes against you, you are coasting. Strength returns when friction returns.
Strength returns when friction returns. Comfort removes resistance. Discipline restores it.
Before you change anything, ask yourself honestly, where has comfort shaped me more than discipline? Where have I lowered my own standard? This is not about guilt, it is about alignment. Scripture says, endure hardship as a good soldier. 2 Timothy 2:3. Endurance implies friction, but it also implies purpose. You don't need drama, you need alignment. Realign your mornings. Realign your body. Realign your focus. Realign your speech. Remain steady. Because maturity is not measured by intensity, it is measured by endurance. Choose one area where comfort has settled in. Reintroduce resistance. Not to impress anyone, not to prove anything, but to restore edge. And if you want structure around that process, the 30-day discipline rebuild is available in the description. It's not dramatic, it's not extreme. It is simply a framework for restoring order and reintroducing resistance. Rebuild quietly, align deliberately, and let resistance restore strength.